Okay. Huh? Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's all foggy this morning in the distance there. And we're just, welcome back. We're just entering the Bukchon Hanok Village. Follow me. It's October the 1st, and you're here on the morning e-bike tour with WeRide. We're just coming into this beautiful neighborhood called the Bukchon Hanok Village. A hanok is this old wooden structure with no color on the wood and usually a white finish on the walls. It's this traditional building, and the roof in this village, the roofs are all tiles because this is a wealthy neighborhood. But originally, hanok roofs would have been made from a variety of materials: straw, thatch roofs, slate roofs, depending on the materials that were available at the time in that region. If you're wealthy enough, you'd have these cool tiles. It's really peaceful walking through here. Like you'd never guess we're right almost downtown. Like you just glance over there, you can see how close we are to the financial district. And yet here, it's nice and peaceful. Now this isn't a museum. That's why I'm keeping my voice down, because it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. It's still quite early, and everyone will either be getting ready for work or, maybe still resting in the morning. That these are residential neighborhoods. These are residential houses, and people live here. Originally, these hanoks would have been much larger at the foundation of the city back in 1395. But following Japanese occupation, the larger Koreans were, less well off. Japanese were in power, and to make more affordable housing for the average Korean, they chopped up these properties into smaller plots and made smaller houses on them. And that's the origin of the village that we're in today. So it dates back to these buildings, date back to like the 20s, 30s period, when this neighborhood was redeveloped. The reason I've stopped here is because you can see in the distance one building in particular that's standing up tall, and that marks the Eastgate market, Dongdaemun, and that's where we'll be visiting on our evening e-bike tour, which is on Sunday, the 3rd of October at 6:30 p.m. Please do join us for that. It kind of picks up from where we left off here, taking us from the end of this tour onwards to the east gate of the city. If you look at the flowers here, these are chrysanthemums. Chrysanthemums are in bloom at the moment at this season, and we'll see a lot more of those at the temple that we're going to later on. Chrysanthemums being a symbol in Buddhism at the temple of the spread of Buddhism throughout the world, through the spread of Buddhist teachings to the world. The symbol of the hopes for the teachings, and so look forward to that. The Chrysanthemum Festival at the temple is really awesome. Talking of symbols, this is a symbol of Korean, for me, symbol of Korean fall, Korean autumn, the persimmons. And I love them at this time of year where you have that gradation from the green to the orange with just changing colour. And they go that lovely orange colour, and then all the leaves fall off the tree. That's when they're ready to be picked and right now, if you pick them, they taste like you're eating a rubber tire. Very astringent, but later on, when they're ripe, they're as sweet as honey, and you can eat them with a spoon. Looking down the way here, you can see, as we look through the neighbourhood, this Hanok neighbourhood, the financial district in the rear. You can also see a delivery outside this home here in the foreground. As I mentioned, these are residential properties and used as such to this day. In the evening e-bike tour, we'll be visiting a similar neighbourhood to this, where the land use has been redesignated as commercial properties. So a lot of these Hanoks have been made into coffee shops or boutiques, and that's really interesting as well. But this one is a residential neighbourhood. So pre-COVID-19, maybe it wouldn't have been too busy at this time in the morning, but it's pretty much like this all day. Like it's very quiet, and nobody really here apart from the people who live here. But pre-COVID-19, this street would have been filled with tourists in the daytime. They would drop off bus loads of tourists at the bottom, and they'd all be hiking up the street to check out this wonderful view. 안녕하세요. Well, before we leave the Bukchon Hanok Village, I'd like to invite you to just turn around and take one more look at the view from the top of the hill here. What an awesome contrast of traditional and modern, old and new. This peaceful morning. You can just make out in the mid-grounds a building with a garden on the rooftop and a dome just before the tall buildings. That's the Constitutional Court of Korea, just down the way there. As I mentioned, there's a lot of buildings and of importance and power in this neighborhood, and people of importance and power in this neighborhood as well. So originally, this would have been a neighborhood that a lot of the royal family lived in, and today it's the neighborhood that the president lives. Just we passed his house earlier. The mayor of Seoul lives. The prime minister of Korea lives, and of course the Constitutional Court is here. So yeah, we do hope that they're all blue in the head. Pure, they have purity of mind, as the neighborhood name suggests. We're going out that way, same way we came? All right. Okay, I have my bicycle. Try and catch up with our cameraman, Taeyeon. There we go. So this is a little parking area here to the rear. But parking is, as you can imagine, a bit tricky in this neighborhood. So for reasons like the parking issue and various other lack of conveniences, this neighborhood and this style of home is less favored, shall we say, by modern Korean families. Usually people like to or strive to live in apartments. Me personally, I would choose one of these homes over an apartment any day of the week. Just think they're really beautiful. I am very curious as to what they're like to live in. I've heard that they're quite cold in the winter, but in the summer, thanks to the that sounds ideal, and they sound ideal in the summer, nice and breezy during those hot, humid Korean summers. These Hanok homes would have had, they do originally have a heating system in them called ondol, which is where a fire is made at one side of the building. The heat and smoke is blown or drawn under the floor, a cavity under the floor, to the chimney at the other side of the building. And that keeps the floor nice and warm. So, as a result, you can see even today, this has an influence over Korean culture and Korean living, in that underfloor heating is really common, still really common here in Korea. Most homes have heating underfloor. There's no radiators, or you don't heat your home with air conditioning or heated air. It's all underfloor heated. And people spend a lot of time on the floor. The dining tables, you lie on the floor. It's warm. And as a result of spending so much time on the floor or wanting to be close to the floor, and so you take your shoes off when you enter these days. Changed a little bit. Take your shoes off when you go indoors to keep that nice warm floor clean. So this is a more commercial part of the same district, Bukchon, and we're just entering a street called Yunboseon-gil, running through this district, and that traditional building you see just there, that was Yunboseon's house. You may be asking, who's Yunboseon? Yunboseon was the second president of Korea, I believe, and he lived in that house there, and hence the street was named after him. His family still live there today. He was actually held in house arrest in that home for a number of years. I believe it was 18 years in total, by his successor, Park Jong-hee, who was the father of the previous president of Korea, Park Geun-hye, the female president who was impeached in 2017 or 18, that period. This is Daechu, right? Yeah. If I was taller, I would show you how to eat the daechu. This is a date, a type of date that's used a lot in rehydrated in soups. It's really nice, but we can't have any too high. These are cherry blossom trees here, or I should say cherry trees, and of course in the springtime on them. So we're just coming down this road here, and what we can see, the people, you might notice the people who are walking up this road are young female, and that's because there's a school just up the way here, and all these young girls are going to school. It's a girls' school. I believe it's a middle school. 그 학교 중학교인가? Going to. It's just up this lane here. But where we're heading is to the Seoul Museum of Craft Art, which is this building here on our right-hand side. It's brand new. Never been inside yet, personally. I'm dying to get in there once the pandemic calms down a bit. We can go in and enjoy Seoul craft art. I'm imagining it's going to be like a lot of pottery and maybe some textile, traditional textiles. I'm curious to see exactly what's in there. It hasn't actually been able to properly open due to the fact that the building is ready, and it's so you can go inside. I'll have to come back here another day. Can't really see much from street level. It's cool though. It is, yeah. It's a nice building. So we curl back round again to the street we were on earlier, Yunbosangil, and we'll make a right here, head to a street called Insadong, which is a market street. I think we can make this. Try not to hit a student. All right. So now I'd say we're really entering the heart of the city. This is more a financial area where people will come and work. It's got offices. Just ahead of me is Microsoft building. The Microsoft offices. So WeWork just. But this street that I'm going down into, this is a little different for this neighborhood. This is a market street, famous for antique furniture. So when Korea is not gripped by COVID and tourism is at its norm, this street would be full of tourists buying souvenirs, a little bit of Korea to take home with them. These shops will sell Korean souvenirs, postcards, snacks and treats. So these days it's quite quiet. On his way to the temple. As you saw earlier, as I pointed out at the beginning of this tour, there are many temples in Korea, but they're usually in the mountains. Well, that's not entirely true. Every neighborhood's got its own little temple. But again, even within neighborhoods, they tend to be up in the hill, out of the way. There's this temple. It's right here in the financial district, and it's a really important temple here in Korea, Jogesa. As Kevin said, it's really beautiful at this time, because thanks to the chrysanthemum festival. As you know, chrysanthemum is this flower of great abundance, and it's a symbol here at the temple of the spread of Buddhism and its teachings around the world. as we enter the main gate here, we pass the 4 guardians of Buddha as we enter. And then cross this bridge into the main courtyard of the temple. And we can see all of these cool flowers. The chrysanthemums are all out on display. They haven't fully bloomed yet. So this, for example, this dinosaur to my right here is covered in chrysanthemum flowers that haven't bloomed yet. So I expect in the next couple of weeks, those will all bloom, and this whole dinosaur will be completely covered in flowers. That's something to look forward to. Keep watching our tours. Keep signing up for the morning e-bike tours and the evening e-bike tours, and you'll get to see all of these in full bloom. Amazing, isn't it? Completely covered in the chrysanthemum plant. You can see all those little buds. All the little buds. Come on, come up close. You see all these little buds here? They're all going to flower and bloom in the next couple of weeks. So this is completely covered in flowers. A bit like the tree over there, the chrysanthemum tree. Jurassic Park?
Yeah. Do you know the scene?
Are you talking about the third, Jurassic Park 3 or 2?
I don't know.
Where he's like stopping the...
that, what is it? Helicariops, I don't know.
What are they called? Velociraptor, right?
Yeah.
Velociraptor, of course.
Make them stop. It was one of the scenes in the movie.
Yeah, I remember that. Do that in front of...
아이언맨 같아.
아니야. 그 주라기 월드에서
뭔지 아는데.
멈추게 하는 거 있잖아요.
뭔지 아는데 자세는 아이언맨이었어.
Iron Man crossover. Apparently, velociraptors weren't, so in the film they're like the size of a person, and here they're about the size of a person. But in real life, they're supposed to be about the size of a turkey. They're quite small and covered in feathers as well. I like the temple's take on it. A bit bigger, covered in flowers. That's where I'm going. This tree is an awesome, talking about ancient organisms, this tree is an ancient organism. It's over 500 years old. It's a white lacebark pine, and it's a tree that gets whiter and whiter. Its bark gets whiter and whiter as it gets older, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's very, very old and still going strong here at the temple. As you can see, there's lots of people here at the temple. People come to the temple early. I think it opens at 3 a.m., I believe. They'll come, offer prayers, offer donations. If you don't have any cash, we take card here. This is an electronic donation system, donation box. This isn't a museum, this isn't a tourist attraction. Well, it is a tourist attraction, but it's not here for that purpose. It's a working temple. People come here to pray and practice Buddhism. As you can see inside, there are 3 Buddhas, 3 large effigies of Buddha in there. We won't actually go inside because, as I say, this is a working temple, and we should go in there for praying, not to just look around. But if we were to decide to go in, we'd have to take our shoes off at the door, and we'd be welcomed in there. You can see there are people in there right now. offering their prayers. Those three effigies each symbolize a different virtue, and that can be seen, or we can understand what that virtue is by the positions of their hands. There's a whole study as to what those hand positions mean, but it's my understanding that the three symbols in there represent benevolence, forgiveness, and health. Swinging around this way from the main building, in front of these side buildings here, we have the reclined or Buddha lying down. I think this refers to one of the stories in the text. I'm not an expert, but this is a very famous symbol in Buddhism as well. I'd also like to draw your attention to the contrast here between the new and the old, the traditional and the modern. Wonderful contrast. Just love that shot. You can see the temple is very colorful. Unlike similar to the Hanoks that we saw earlier, it's you know, got the tiled roofs and the wooden structure, but those Hanoks were very plain in their color, just plain wood, unfinished, whereas a temple is very extravagantly decorated with images and stories, pictorial stories. Oh wow, look at this. This is just whimsical, isn't it? It's like candy floss. It's beautiful. Isn't that a beautiful color? 색깔이 너무 예쁘다.
Looking like smoke.
Yeah, it looks like smoke.
Smoke.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
You can go inside.
Can we? That's so cool. Pretty awesome. So this wasn't here in the last tour. They've just put all of this in, this awesome display which has been put in, and you see it's still work in progress. Here behind us we have the characters of the Chinese Zodiac. This is unlike the Zodiac that I was brought up familiar with, you know, I guess, is it Greek, based on astrology. If you're born in August, then you're a Leo, in September, then you're a Virgo, that kind of thing. That's based on a month-to-month basis, those characters, whereas the Chinese Zodiac is on a year-to-year basis, and it's on goes in 12-year cycles. So I was born in 1982, which makes me a dog. I was born in the year of the dog. I don't see the dog anywhere. It must be around the other side. Taeyong, what are you? 무슨 띠야?
아, 뭐였다? 호랑이.
호랑이, tiger. So Taeyong's in the tiger, born in the year of the tiger.
Heavy tiger too.
Kevin's in the tiger as well.
And you?
Me, I'm a dog.
Dog. I like dog. I could do this river.
Yeah, just like that one. I want to lie down.
Or
So this
he said the short terrier.
Yorkshire Terrier. So this region I'm walking past now is where people offer their respects by lighting incense and saying a prayer, facing the temple and the pagoda. And following their prayer, they would then put the incense into the sand here and let it smoke away, releasing the hopes and wishes to the heavens. The incense is freely available. You can just help yourself to that. and you can light it over here at the candles. How are we doing for time, guys?
It's done. Thank you.
Okay. Well, from us here in the morning e-bike tour in Seoul on October the 1st, we're going to wish you all a really wonderful day, and thank you for joining us for this, sharing this morning with us. I do hope that you join us for the evening e-bike tour, which is going to be on the October the 3rd, so it's Sunday, and it's at 6:30 Korean time. We'll be picking up more or less where we left off. Just next door to here is the Cheonggyecheon River. We'll be starting there, and we'll be heading to the Eastgate, Eastgate of the city, and visiting a market, a food market along the way. Another Hanok Village like we saw today, except more commercial use. And we'll be experiencing Seoul in the evening, so everyone's going home from work and the sun is setting, the lights are coming on. It's going to be a great tour. I hope you can make it. So yeah, see you on Sunday 6:30 for our evening e-bike tour. But from me here in Seoul, have a great day. And Kevin, same. Taeyong, same again. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a blessing day.
Have a blessed day. Beautiful.